You work hard, stay busy, try new things, yet somehow you end up in the exact same place, year after year. What if the problem isn't your income, your skills, or even your effort, but a single mental habit quietly running in the background of your mind? In this video, I'll share 6 psychology-backed insights that expose the exact mental pattern keeping you broke and stuck, and exactly how to break it, starting today. I discovered this pattern after years of asking the same question. Why do some people completely transform their finances and mindset in months, while others spend decades trying and stay stuck? The answer wasn't discipline, intelligence, or luck. Research in behavioral psychology shows it comes down to one repeating mental loop most people never even notice. The problem is, almost everyone is running this habit unconsciously, and the more you try to push through it without addressing it, the deeper it gets. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what this habit is, why your brain clings to it, and the practical steps to rewire it. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's start at the foundation. And this first one is the mental habit itself, the engine behind everything else we'll talk about today. It's called the scarcity loop, and it's the automatic pattern of thinking, deciding, and behaving as if there is never enough. Enough money, enough time, enough opportunity, even when evidence says otherwise. Here's why this is so dangerous. Research from Harvard economists Sendhil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir found that scarcity thinking literally reduces cognitive bandwidth. It's like your brain is running too many background apps. You make worse decisions, take shorter-term thinking shortcuts, and unconsciously avoid the very opportunities that could change your situation. This works because your brain treats financial or emotional scarcity the same way it treats physical danger. It activates survival mode, and in survival mode, your brain isn't designed for long-term growth. It's designed to protect what little it thinks you have. First, recognize the trigger. When you feel that tight, anxious, I can't afford this sensation, even about non-money things like time or energy, pause. Second, name it out loud or in your head. That's my scarcity loop. Just naming it reduces its power instantly. Third, ask one reframe question. What would someone who expects abundance do here? Don't force an answer. Just hold the question. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, try saying, how could I afford that? Same situation, completely different neurological response. Now, the scarcity loop doesn't work alone. It has a partner, and that partner is what I want to talk about next. Most people never talk about this one, and it might be the most important insight in this entire video. Identity debt is when the story you tell yourself about who you are is actually borrowed from your past, from failures, from what people told you, from patterns you watched growing up, and you've been unconsciously paying interest on it ever since. Carol Dweck's landmark research on identity and growth mindset found that the self-labels people carry, like I'm bad with money, or I'm just not a motivated person, create what she called behavioral scripts. Your brain literally searches for proof that your identity label is true and filters out evidence that contradicts it. It's called confirmation bias on steroids. Here's how to start paying off identity debt. First, write down 3 I am statements you repeat about yourself around money or success. Second, for each one, ask, who first told me this was true about me? Third, replace each statement with an I am becoming statement. Not fake positivity, just honest direction. I am becoming someone who understands money. That's believable. That's powerful. For instance, instead of saying I'm just not good at saving, try I'm someone who is learning to save. Your brain responds to that differently. It opens the door instead of slamming it. But here's the thing, even if you fix your identity, there's still a daily trap that pulls you right back. Let me show you what it is. Now, this next one is crucial because it's hiding inside habits that feel completely reasonable and even responsible. The comfort tax is the invisible price you pay every time you choose short-term emotional comfort over long-term financial or personal growth. Scrolling instead of learning, spending on a treat instead of investing, Staying quiet in a meeting instead of speaking up. A 2021 study from the University of Chicago found that humans systematically underestimate the cost of inaction. We feel the pain of action strongly, but we barely register the slow, compounding loss of staying comfortable. Your brain is literally wired to make staying still feel free, even when it's costing you everything. Here's how to stop paying the comfort tax. First, every evening, identify one moment that day where you chose comfort over growth. No judgment, just awareness. Second, calculate the real cost in 5-year terms. If you avoid one difficult conversation about a raise today, what does that compound to? Third, make the discomfort smaller, not yourself stronger. Don't try to become fearless. Just shrink the scary thing until it's slightly uncomfortable, not terrifying. This brings me to one of the most counterintuitive secrets in this entire video. You've already watched this far, so let me share something that might genuinely change how you approach your goals. Because this one trips up even the most motivated people. The planning paradox is the trap where planning feels like progress, but it's actually a sophisticated form of procrastination dressed in productivity clothing. The more detailed your plan, the more your brain releases dopamine, as if you've already succeeded, reducing the actual motivation to execute. Psychologist Dr. Fertzike Gabrielle Oettingen at NYU calls this mental contrasting failure. When you visualize the goal without equally imagining the obstacles, your brain actually relaxes as if the goal is done. Research shows people who only plan and visualize success consistently perform worse than people who plan and rehearse specific obstacles. Here's the fix. Use what Oettingen calls WHOOP. First, wish. Name your goal clearly. Second, outcome. Imagine the best result vividly. Third, obstacle. Now imagine the most likely thing that will stop you. Fourth, plan. Create an if-then script. If this obstacle happens, then I will do this specific thing. That's it. Simple. Tested. Proven to dramatically outperform traditional goal setting. But that plan means nothing without addressing the next thing, which is the reason most people abandon the I goals in the first place. Here's where it gets really interesting. And honestly, once you see this, you'll never look at your to-do list the same way. The urgency illusion is the mental habit of constantly responding to things that feel urgent, but have zero actual impact on your financial or personal growth, while the truly important work sits ignored because it doesn't feel immediately pressing. Time management researcher Stephen Covey popularized what researchers call the Eisenhower matrix, and the data is stark. Most people spend 70 to 80% of their time in urgent but not important tasks. Notifications, reactive conversations, surface-level busy work. Truly important, non-urgent work, learning new skills, building relationships, creating assets, almost never feels urgent until it's too late to act. Here's your 3-step urgency audit. First, for 1 week, put a small U or I next to everything you do, urgent or important. Be brutally honest. Second, identify your single highest importance, lowest urgency task, the one you keep moving to next week. Block 45 minutes for it tomorrow morning before any notifications. Third, treat every interruption of that block as a financial cost, not an inconvenience. Because it is. Now, all of this comes together with the final piece, and I've saved the most quietly powerful one for last. This last one is the one nobody wants to say out loud, but I'm going to say it, because ignoring it is exactly why the other 5 habits keep coming back. Concealing belief is an unconscious upper limit you've set on what you believe you deserve. Not what you want, but what you believe you're actually allowed to have. And the terrifying thing is, this ceiling is completely invisible until you're about to break through it. Gay Hendricks, in his landmark book The Big Leap, identified what he calls the upper limit problem, the predictable, unconscious pattern of self-sabotage that activates the moment someone gets close to more success, money, or joy than their internal thermostat allows. You might start a fight with a partner right after a financial win, get sick the week before a big opportunity, suddenly lose motivation when you're actually making progress. Here's how to raise your ceiling. First, notice your sabotage patterns, what consistently goes wrong right when things are going right. Write it down without judgment. Second, trace it to a fear, usually one of four. Fear of outshining others, fear of being too much, fear of leaving your original group behind, or fear of the responsibilities of success. Third, write a permission statement, literally. I give myself permission to be financially successful and stay a good person. My success doesn't take from others. It adds to the world. Read it daily for 30 days. Instead of unconsciously pulling yourself back down when life starts improving, you'll start to feel safe growing, maybe for the first time. And that changes everything. All right, let's quickly review what we covered today, because all 6 of these work together. Number 1, the scarcity loop, your brain in survival mode, blocking growth opportunities. Number 2, identity debt, the borrowed story you've been paying interest on. Number 3, the comfort tax, the invisible price of choosing safe over growth. Number 4, the planning paradox, when preparation becomes sophisticated avoidance. Number 5, the urgency illusion, staying busy doing everything except what matters. Number 6, the ceiling belief, the upper limit you set on what you'll allow yourself to have. Remember, none of these habits mean you're broken, lazy, or hopeless. They mean you're human. They mean your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do in environments that no longer exist. You have everything you need to change these patterns. You don't need a new salary, a new city, or a perfect plan. You need a new mental habit to replace the old one. One decision at a time. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is which mental pattern you choose to run. Don't wait until the financial pressure becomes a crisis to address this. Start with just one thing from today. Pick the one mental habit from this list you recognize most in yourself, and write it down right now, in your phone, on paper, wherever. Just name it. I promise you, 6 months from now, you'll look back at this moment as the day something quietly shifted. If this video added value to your thinking today, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content who need it. Subscribe for more psychology-backed videos on breaking the patterns that hold smart, hardworking people back. Drop a comment below telling me, which of these 6 mental habits do you recognize most in yourself right now? I read every single one, and if you want to go deeper on reprogramming your financial mindset from the ground up, the video right here covers exactly that. I think you'll want to watch it next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.